This is In Their Closet Podcast.
Welcome to In Their Closet. I'm your host, El Moore, and today we're joined by Lora Rosemon. Did I pronounce that correctly?
You did that.
And today we're joined by Lora. Let me just do that again because I'm not going to ask you. I'm going to have him remove all that. Welcome to In Their Closet. I'm your host, El Moore, and today we're joined by Lora Rosemon. Lora Rosemon is an affirmation coach and the creator of Joli
Bae.
Joli Bae. She created Joli Bae to inspire women's mental and spiritual wellness through guidance and creating a culture that affirms self-worth. Lora's passion for speaking life began after losing her only sister in 2011 by suicide. She went through a journey of loss and grief to rediscover her most authentic self. Lora has 10 plus years of experience helping women to tap into and rediscover their inner power and highest potential. And Joli Bae stands for Beautiful Mind. Welcome, Lora.
Thank you.
Yeah,
for having me.
Absolutely. Now, when I met you, I told you like your timing is perfect because we had just been talking to someone on the podcast about manifestations and mindsets and affirmations, and I learned that you are an affirmation coach. And I have never heard of that before. So why don't you tell us, what is an affirmation coach?
So I claimed myself.
Okay. Self-acclaimed.
Certified by the universe.
Absolutely.
And life experience.
I love that. I love that.
Yes. And so what an affirmation coach is affirmations. We speak life either way, negative or positive.
Mm-hmm.
And so I chose to be an affirmation coach to help individuals realize our words are powerful.
Yes.
And so the more that we speak life over our life, then we see life in a different light. So that's why affirmation coach is the name that I chose. And also because I once spoke self-sabotaging language over my life. And I had no idea the power that I was, or what I was creating for myself.
Yes.
I didn't realize I was digging a deeper hole, replaying old stories and scenarios over my life. And once I realized what my words were doing to me, I was like, it was a wake-up call.
I like that you recognize the self-sabotage language. I'd like to dive deeper into that.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some things that we could be saying that are causing us to sabotage our own selves?
Okay, well, first, how I even got into speaking that, because I'm a free spirit at heart.
Yeah.
Okay. I love life, doing my thing, living
Yes.
like it's just like it's golden, I guess you could say. And then I lost my sister in 2011. And after losing her, she was 2 years older than me. After losing her, the last birthday I had with her was my 30th birthday that she threw me this bash, and it was so wonderful. After losing her, my life changed. And I honestly didn't realize how much it was changing because I put a smile on my face. Every day it's getting better. It's getting better. If anyone was to ask me, it's getting better. You know, it's getting better. But deep down inside, I'm like, what in the hell am I doing? Who am I? I don't even know who I am anymore.
So you were saying
those were the words I began to speak to myself. I don't know who I am anymore.
Okay.
I just want my life to go back to the same.
So you were saying that things are getting better, but
out loud.
But inside you were thinking everything isn't okay.
Right. It's not okay. And I don't know who I am. I'm showing up to everyone smiling and I don't even know who I am.
So tell us about your sister.
Okay. So she was a real estate broker here in Houston.
Oh, wow.
AKA graduated University of Houston downtown. So she was well-traveled, well-known in Houston. And unfortunately, she got diagnosed bipolar disorder in her adult age. So we had no clue that any of this was a part of her life, our life, none of our younger years. And so being diagnosed bipolar, she had highs and lows.
Okay. Can you tell us about bipolar disorder?
Bipolar disorder is it's a mental illness that affects your mood.
Okay.
Your 1 minute you may have manic episodes where racing thoughts, you're going 100 miles an hour and they're irrational. And then the next minute you can be depressed.
Okay.
You can just feel like you want to shy away. You feel worthless. And so we never recognized any of these things. The only thing that I remember in relationships was when there was heartbreak, she dealt with it a whole lot harder than what anyone else would. This is hindsight looking back.
Right.
Not realizing how it was affecting her.
Yeah.
But being diagnosed in a space where your career is going great,
Yeah.
she felt in a state of denial,
Mm-hmm.
and like people would judge her. How is someone
Yes.
going to trust me in selling a home?
Yeah.
And I have a mental illness now. So we went through that phase. Long story short, the doctor basically told us to go home the day that we brought her in and said she's feeling worthless and she doesn't want to be here. And he told us, take this pill. She's high functioning. She'll be fine. The next day, we didn't have Latrice anymore.
Wow.
And so after that, life just completely changed because it was like I did everything that I thought I was supposed to do, but I failed somewhere. And that was another part of me feeling or speaking negatively over my life, feeling like I failed. Like I failed my sister. I was there. I saw it. I knew. How come I didn't reach out to find other help? You know, seek a second or third, fourth opinion, same day, emergency room, whatever I needed to do. So, but yeah, so she's here now.
Yeah.
To lighten the mood. She's here now. And I know that she's proud that it went from not just speaking about specifically bipolar disorder, not just speaking specifically about suicide prevention. We actually just did the walk, the Out of the Darkness walk this past weekend or 2 weekends ago or whatever. And it switched from just specifically speaking about that to women in general dealing with the things that go on in our mind.
Yes,
whether you have a mental illness or not. We all have to be mindful of the things that we're telling ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into speaking or claiming an affirmation coach.
I love it. I want, before you came on, I did some research and I want to just share that every day, approximately 125 Americans die by suicide. One death in the U.S. every 11.5 minutes. Did you learn some things in regards to suicide of how to be more aware, or was this just something that you felt like happened and maybe your hands were tied? How can we do things differently?
I honestly, how much more could I do than bring you to the actual doctor and say, hey, this is what she said. Are you delusional? Because you could see it in her face.
Right.
So, I mean, it's really listening.
Right.
When you hear someone speaking or saying that they feel worthless or that they don't want to be here anymore, or they're sad, and you can see it written all over their face, then it's not up to them anymore because they sometimes have checked out.
Yeah.
It's up to you to get them help because suicide is preventable.
When he said she was high functioning, what does that mean?
He mentioned that he had other patients that I guess their highs and lows, maybe they were more in the hospital on heavier medications and stuff like that. And the medication is an issue as well because a lot of the stuff that she did take took like 2 weeks to get in her system. And then she had to figure out, okay, I'm feeling too sleepy. I'm feeling too this. I can't work. And so he prescribed another pill, which was going to take another 2 weeks to get in her system.
Right.
When we're like, she's feeling worthless. What do we do? So in high functioning, meaning that she has a career, you know, she went in there talking normal, but I knew the difference than my sister. It's like there's also manipulation a part of that as well. And so I honestly don't know what he meant by that.
Yeah.
You're the doctor.
Yeah. The mind is very powerful. When I met you, I was telling you briefly because we were at a social event and we started having this amazing conversation. But the mind is so powerful. I was in a car accident a couple of years ago in 2020 and I slid all over the freeway. The roads were pretty slick. It wasn't raining hard. It was just raining enough for the roads to be wet. And I hit something in the road and I wasn't aware that my tires were bald. And so when I hit something, I hit the brakes and I just began to spin and slide all over the freeway. I was fine. I walked out fine. I ended up getting a better car. But for weeks after that accident, I would wake up in the middle of the night at 3:30 every morning. I would take sleeping pills. I would do so much. I could not sleep past 3:30. So I went to my doctor and I told her, like, this is what happened recently. You know, I feel fine, but I keep waking up. And she said, Lisa, the mind is very powerful and it keeps replaying to you because I have anxiety. I know I have anxiety. I keep replaying all these different scenarios of what could have happened. I could have been hit by an 18-wheeler or I could have hit someone else, or I might not have made it out of that car. And I continued to think about it, even though I'm fine. Right. My body's fine. Nothing happened that the insurance wasn't able to quickly fix. But my mind was telling me all these scenarios. And she said, I'm going to give you some pills to help you sleep and to help you do better. Those pills, after about 2 weeks, made me tired, didn't make me feel like myself. And I said, there has to be something different because I'm not working effectively. And so I went on YouTube and I found out about affirmations. And that's where I'm so excited to talk to you, because listening to the affirmations at night and then constantly reaffirming those throughout the day changed me.
Yes.
And so I want to know how you came to this. Like, what's your story of simply becoming an affirmation coach and knowing for sure that this works?
Oh, okay. So, so after my 30th birthday, I had a panic attack.
Okay.
I didn't realize what was happening. All I knew, all of a sudden, I couldn't breathe. And I was like, I got to get out of this house. I got to go. And my husband looks at me like, where do you think you're going? I just grabbed the keys and I was getting out of there. And he was like, wait, I'll drive you because I'm not sure what's happening here. So we back out and we're driving off. And he was like, what's going on? You need to talk. I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like I need some fresh air and I have to get out of this house. And the next thing I know, he pulls over and I can visually, like I'm seeing this right now. He pulls over in this Sonic parking lot and he's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I could feel the right side of my face going numb. And I was thinking to myself, I'm about to snap. I'm going to be in a crazy house. Something's happening. This is what was going on in my mind.
Oh my goodness.
And then on the other side, I heard, breathe, breathe. And so I was like, trying to breathe. He's looking at me like, what is going on?
Oh my God.
And then the other side, you're going to go crazy like your sister.
Oh.
And this is what was going on in my mind.
Yes,
I mean, it
yes.
sounds crazy, but I was like, I can't leave right now. There's so much more.
Yes.
This is all happening. And then breathe just came over. And then all of a sudden I was able to breathe. I was aware of that. I began to breathe. And then I was like, okay, we can go home now. And so after that, I knew that I wanted to do something that spoke to people about self-awareness, being more self-aware of what your mind is telling you and then what you're identifying with.
Yeah.
Because I was identifying with all of this initially, but I could have followed over here and probably snapped because that's how powerful our mind is. But instead, I felt the zen, the calm, the peace, God.
Yes.
You had the universe flowing through me over here, just saying, breathe. And I went that way and I was okay after that. I never had a panic attack like that ever again. And so after that day, this is hindsight looking, like I still have moments where things would flow through my mind, but it never took me over like it did that time.
Yes.
And so after time, I did like some research on mental health and mindset. And I came across a couple of different teachers like Muji and Eckhart Tolle. Have you heard of Eckhart Tolle?
Yes, I love him.
So The Power of Now is one of my favorite books. I tune into that from time to time. Even though he has a monotone voice, it's something about what he says and the way he says it.
Yes.
It just clears my whole body, my mind and everything. And I'm like, okay, I'm good again. I'm good. And so Oprah's
yes, that's how I know
Sunday
Eckhart Tolle.
show. That's how I found out about him as well. And then there's this other doctor, I can't think of his name. And so his was a scientific version. Eckhart's was kind of like more like the breathing. And so it made me understand, okay, that breathing that came over me to just kind of calm down, bring myself to a center space. Muji talks about emptying ourselves. A lot of times we associate being empty with like we're lonely.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have anything within ourselves. But when we empty ourselves, we're actually getting rid of a lot of clutter and distractions that's what we're living on in our mind of the scenarios. Like you said, you're playing these scenarios that never happened. But still give you this feeling inside.
Yes.
And that's pretty crazy because the mind doesn't know the difference.
I love that you're saying empty your mind, like declutter this, and you're going to tell us how to do it.
Yeah. Yes. Empty, empty, empty. And it's so easy.
It's easy. Come on.
It's simple.
Oh my gosh.
It's simple.
Maybe not easy.
Maybe not easy. Let me rephrase that. Simple, maybe
Simple,
not easy. And it's really just visualizing yourself saying, you know, for this moment, let me just put my name to the side. If I put my name to the side, you don't know me as Lora anymore. There's just this no name. Am I going to die? Or will you die? Are we still breathing? Okay. And then let's put our titles, the roles, like how people see us in society.
Yes.
Like, let's just put that to the side. Like be in that space. All of that's just sitting over there. You can see it, but we're not going to identify with it or touch it. Right. And then any other label or name someone has ever called you, liar or cheater or anything that you may have went through in your life and we still kind of hold on to it and we feel guilty or bad about. We're just going to put that over to the side. And then we just sit here. And I was like, I'm just sitting here. We can put our clothes to the side too, but don't visualize that. But just being here as a being.
Yeah.
And then within this space, there's nothing.
Yes.
But peace. Like, do you feel like a little space of like, it just feels kind of light? Just really zen. And that's all. It's being aware to say, okay, you know what, today I don't want to be, or in this moment. And I'm not going to say I can't walk out of here and be here. You're going to know me as Lora. Hey, Lora. Hey. But in this moment, while I'm not around you, I need to get all of this off of my chest. I don't want to be this right now. I just want to just be.
Yeah.
I want to be life experiencing life again.
I love that.
Yeah, because we are all an extension of the universe. And so being an extension, we are life experiencing life. And then I think we get lost in the human and we forget that we are beings. And when we tap into that beingness of us, back to the space of stillness and emptiness, it's a sense of peace that really comes over us. It never dies within us. And that's what emptying ourselves is. Tapping back into that space of peace and stillness. I'm a tree blowing in the wind. I mean, when you think about it, it's energy.
Yeah.
And so you get back to your truth of being.
How often do you do this?
Oh, I try to do this every day.
I was going to say, like, this might be something I need to incorporate daily.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really, if you do it when you're not overwhelmed, just like, I just want to breathe for a moment, bring myself to a present space, get still with it. Then when things happen, you're able to feel when those shoulders go up and you're feeling tense and you're like, you know what? I'm actually not present right now. That's why I'm feeling this way. Actually, let me just calm down and move whatever. I have this thing called Let That Shit Go Friday.
I love this.
We just started it. So I have like 2 of them on there. And it's like this last one that I put out it was about sometimes we say, let that shit go. And it's really not that simple.
Yeah.
It still sits there. And then sometimes we feel like we're disconnecting ourselves from how we really feel. But no, it's truly being connected to how you feel. Like, don't disconnect because we're letting that shit go. No, I need to know how I feel.
Yeah.
Why do I feel this way? All right, now that I feel this way, now it's time to process this. Now that I'm processing why this shit is making me feel this way, how do I choose to feel? I want to be happy now. The only reason this keeps bothering me is because I keep letting it replay in my mind.
Yes. Yes.
So if I just let that shit go, then right now I can be all right. It might come back, but if you're aware that it keeps coming back, the more that you flex that muscle to say, not today, not today, it will eventually fade away. And then you're able to move on into the other things that you have going on in your life.
So when the thought comes back, is there another thought that we should replace it with?
Yeah, that's where the affirmations come into place. Yeah, that's where the affirmations come. I mean, it's not even as, oh, I'm not going to do this. It's just as simple as not today.
Yeah.
You know, I see we're the eyes behind the eyes.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, we are not our thoughts. We are the awareness behind the thought. Some thoughts just show up.
Yes.
Right? And then there's some things that we can say, not today. Like, I'm going to choose what I want to believe about myself today.
Yeah.
So if it's something that's making you feel negative or down or hurt, we're not here to suffer.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I took away after losing my sister. When I finally woke up, I was like, I'm not here to suffer. I'm not here to suffer. I was not left here to suffer.
Yeah.
There's a message here. There's a purpose here. I don't know what it is. And I'm not going to beat myself up trying to figure out the purpose. The purpose will show and present itself. But I'm not here to suffer. So if that's a space that you're in where something keeps bashing on you and you feel like you're in a broken space, I'm not here to suffer.
That's a good affirmation. I am not here to suffer.
No, we're here for the experience. It's not always the greatest.
Right.
Some things we wish could just be pushed to the side, but things happen. And if we weren't here, we wouldn't even know it. We wouldn't be here for the experience.
Right. My sister sent me a message today. It was a beautiful little quote. And it said, everything is going to be okay. It might not go as the way we expected, but it is going to turn out just right. And I thought about that, like, you know what, sometimes things, I have all these expectations and it doesn't work out, or it doesn't work out the way that I want. But once the dust settles, it couldn't have happened any better than it did, which is a point for me to remember, like, I don't need to stress about what is going to happen because everything is going to be okay.
Self-awareness.
Yes. So the podcast is called In Their Closet because I started with decluttering closets and organizing closets. And we talked about labels and the things that people were wearing, but people were also putting labels on themselves. Not with, designers, but just things like, loser or cheater or whatever. When I started to do more closets, I moved to hoarders, and that began conversations. And I thought I should have a podcast. And this was 5 years ago, and I kept praying on it, had multiple dreams. And this is kind of how the podcast evolved. But when working with hoarders, they have tons of things that they've collected. And my mission is always to let it go. Like, talking them out of letting go some of the things. And a lot of times it is behind grief, or it is behind some type of trauma, and they're holding on to these items and these things because of their attachment to that trauma. And listening to you talk, that really resonated with me because I am not a hoarder of things in the sense, as some, but there might be thoughts, and I'm sure other people can identify, there might be thoughts that we are holding on to that we need to let go, because by holding on to this, it keeps us in that traumatic state.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Self-awareness. That's the biggest thing I can go back to.
Mm-hmm.
It's about being self-aware and knowing that you're not your thoughts. If you can get that in your mind, in your head, if you can get the fact that you're not your thoughts, and that most of them are from the past.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones from the past are the ones that make you feel the most like shit.
Yeah.
And the ones from the future are the ones that have you anxious
Yes.
and worried about stuff. So if you can just bring yourself back to a space of stillness and realize, okay, I'm not my thoughts. It's not happening right now.
Yeah.
Why am I tripping? Let me breathe.
Yes.
And then you breathe. And you're like, okay, even if it's for like 5 seconds, that 5 seconds can change your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Because the more that we are feeling dis-ease, that's where all of this disease comes from.
Right.
Because we're stressing
our
and
body.
we're killing ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. And so we literally can heal ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We're just so caught up in the mind. And I think there's a lot of stuff in the algorithm right now that kind of sucks people in as well, because a lot of people are not thinking for themselves anymore because it's always a scrolling.
Yeah.
And it's nothing wrong with social media or media, because I don't even watch the news.
Yeah, me either.
The news is depressing for me.
Yes, for me too.
For some people, it may be like, I see where my purpose is in the world to go and fix that or help that. For me, it pierces my spirit to see things that are hurtful and things that I can't go over and actually fix or change.
Mm-hmm.
And so how I feel like I'm something to this world is by being a light for myself.
Yeah.
So if everybody was lights for themselves, then we'd be lights for each other,
Yeah.
And so I don't even know where we went. I just kind of went from there. Girl, bring me back.
Are you an empath? Would you call yourself an empath?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think I am. I honestly didn't even realize what that was. I had a conversation with another lady before, and she mentioned how she was. And I think I am. It's funny because we'll go somewhere, and we've had people literally open up about stuff to me.
Wow.
When we're in a space, and I'm like, I didn't even ask for that, but you obviously needed to get that off your chest,
Right.
and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And it's when we hug it out afterwards,
Yeah.
And so it's just something about, I'm not tooting my horn, but my energy,
Mm-hmm.
I attract, and they're
Yeah.
attracted to me.
You have
Like we're
good
attracted
energy.
together to help one another.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yes. I would consider myself a social butterfly. I wore a butterfly as my Halloween costume this year because everyone teases me that I'm a social butterfly. It's a part of the business, part of networking that I do. But I'm as equally as an introvert. I like to be at home because sometimes when I'm out and I do take on, the feelings and thoughts that other people have in their conversations, and because they want to have these deep conversations with me, I have to go home and just relax. I just have to be by myself. I just have to come back to me because it can be a lot. Yeah. So what do you do in situations like this?
It's funny. Kiki, right?
She's nodding her head.
Look, no, because when we host these events, I'm pouring my all in that moment. And even whenever I'm on the quiet end, it's a lot of energy that I put in, that it's to keep the vibe feeling good and loving.
Yes.
And when it's over, I'm like this.
Yes, you're drained.
I'm drained.
Yes.
And it's not a negative thing. It's like
it's the energy.
It's the energy. And it's I have to go home, decompress, relax, and just kind of get my energy and vibe back together and move on into the next. So it's very true how I I believe I've always been an extrovert.
Yeah.
When COVID hit,
Yeah.
I think I kind of was like, yay.
Yeah.
I love being home. Oh my God.
Yes.
I didn't realize how much I love being home. This is good to me. I was like, I'm vibing with myself. I'm loving myself more. I'm leaning into myself more. I'm learning more about myself.
Yeah.
And then it's like, now we're getting back into the world. I was like, I done got a little comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, meeting you was us being back out into the world. I'm like,
Wow.
we're doing this.
Oh my God.
We're doing it. But it feels good to be able to meet people like you.
Yeah.
And that it's light, it's fun.
Yeah.
But I'm with you on that. I could just be in some sweats on the couch, just no makeup. A lot of the videos that I do, I don't even have too much makeup on. I'm like, y'all gonna get this message however it comes. I'm sorry. I can't, the message hits me. I can't go running there throwing some lipstick and
we love those authentic times.
Yeah.
When 2020 hit and we were in the house, I remember just thanking God that my house was a home and I felt comfortable being in the house, that I didn't have to start ordering on Amazon like crazy. Like I felt at peace in my house. I did miss interacting with my friends, but we got Zoom started and we would have like happy hours on Friday at 6:00 in front of the TV screen. So we started to make ways around it, but it's so nice to find peace in your home.
It is.
It's nice where, you know, if you do go outside, like it's good when you're out there, but then when you come home, it's like you're surrounded by things that make you happy and you find your happy place.
Yes.
So I want to know some of your affirmations that you go to all the time or some affirmations that are your favorite.
Okay. So one of my favorite is let that shit go.
I love that one. I'm going to start telling my clients that.
It's not all that deep and stuff, but it's a lot of stuff that I have to let go. And that is a daily practice.
Yes.
That goes back to some of the things that just bothers us for no reason.
Yeah.
There's some things that bother us for reasons, but a lot of it is like, let that shit go.
Mm-hmm.
I do love everything is in divine timing because I do, like you said, I believe that. And sometimes it is hard to lean in on that one.
Yes.
And it's like, everything is in divine timing. I know it is. It may not look like it in this moment, but I know this is working out for the greater good. Maybe I'm being blocked from, you know, an accident that wasn't meant for me. Maybe I'm being blocked from, you know, I wasn't supposed to be in the building with those people.
Right.
You know, and so it's little things like that we try to rush ourselves into, we try to force ourselves into, and then we wonder, why did that go wrong?
Right.
Right. And so those two are my top. Everything is in divine timing and let that shit go. And if I have to go back to me, another one would be, I love myself. Because a lot of times it's easy to compare yourself in the space that you're in and you're doing great things.
Yes.
But you don't see it because you're always feeling like you should be doing more. Or how could I fix this? Or how could I live up to that? And I'm getting older now. I'm seeing wrinkles come in. Skin is changing. Body's changing. And it's like, don't start talking shit about your skin. Don't start talking shit about your body. Don't do it. It's only one you. All right. Love you. Turn the filter off from time to time because it's got you tripping. All right. Love yourself with and without the filters. It's fine. And so loving me really means like I can look in the mirror and not only pick apart, oh, I need to fix this. I can't walk outside looking like that. I need to be able to show up as me in the raw and love that.
Yes.
And hone in on that energy and vibe. If you come to me and you're in my space and loving it, good. If not, then you're not my cup of tea. It's fine.
Right.
And so that's another thing.
Right. Because you guys were so embracing when I came in here with my slick back. That's what y'all were calling it, my slick back.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I'm just going to do me today. And you guys are very embracing. But I recently ordered a product from a Black company. I saw them on social media and I was like, let me try them out. When I was 10 years old, I got eczema on my hands. I got eczema really, really bad. And I only remember it the summer that I was 10 years old. My father is a pastor. My father prayed for my hands and he prayed for my healing. And I've never had eczema again. Every now and then if I wear a ring and I wash my hands and the water gets trapped, I might get like little eczema. I might get a little small infection under my finger, but my hands had been covered with eczema to the point where my hands were really dark. For the longest time, I would hate to, you know, take pictures, or I might wear gloves, or I might move my hands a certain way because I was really embarrassed that they were so much darker than the rest of me. I wasn't thinking about that healing miracle that happened when I was 10. But when the product came, it came with like it's a little round, little um, ounce, 1 ounce product. But it came with a card of skin affirmations.
Oh.
We want you to say these skin affirmations every day when you're using the product. And it was just speaking over my skin. I love you. I love how you make me feel. I love how you look. I love every part of you. I love my scars. I love the discolorations. And I was thinking like, see, I needed this because I've been talking crazy with my skin. I need to remind her how much I love her. I love my stretch marks, I love everything that I see. It did make me, because I started telling my skin, even the stuff that I have been telling myself for years I didn't like, I started to feel different about myself.
It changes everything.
I started to appreciate this old body that I got. I'm like, girl, you're doing good.
Yes. Isn't it? It's beautiful.
Yes.
Like you just gave me chills even just listening to you say that. It changes everything.
Yeah.
The shower, even in the shower, it's like feeling my skin. I'm like, oh my God, I'm a human. Like I have flesh.
Yes.
This is beautiful. So
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. And I don't want to take for granted. And sometimes that happens when we're not showing gratitude and we're not recognizing, like I got a scar when I was young. I'm glad that I healed from that scar. Thank you for healing my body, and those things start to make a difference. I've been looking at my hands because I've ran out of the cream. I wasn't going to buy any more cream. And I looked at my hands like my hands are getting lighter. Not even because of the cream, but I continue, like whenever I think about it, I say something new. And I'm thinking my body is healing itself now.
Absolutely.
It's so happy to hear how much I love it again.
Yes, that's beautiful.
Isn't that something?
I love it. I love it. I love it. I think y'all hear that? Take that away. Right. If you're listening to this right now, go tell your body how much you love it. Okay. It's a lot that it does for you that you take for granted. Don't do it.
Right.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
And so the affirmations are really important to me. One of my favorite affirmations is everything is working out for my highest and best good. And out of this situation, only good will come. And I am safe, which is something that I have to remind myself, especially if I start to feel overwhelmed, if I start to feel like the end is out of my reach or my goals are not. Listen, you stay in this moment right now and just remember, like you're safe, you're alive, you're well. Everything is going to work out. How is not up to me, to just know and to just have that faith and have that trust. Another one of my favorites is, and I have them on my phone to just pop up and remind me from time to time. But one of my affirmations is that I do not chase love. Love will come to me and I am love. And that's important because, if I get upset, I have to remember, Lisa, I am love. I have to remind myself. But also, like, I'm not on anybody's timetable. Right. I'm working things out on my own and I'm figuring things out on my own. And when the time is right, everything is going to work out. And that love is going to come for me. I'm never going to have to chase love down.
Right.
Love will chase me down before I chase love down.
And it'll be on the same frequency that you're on. It's
right.
not going to be you lowering yourself, trying to force something to happen. It'll be like, you were really meant to be.
Right. And it's so cool when it happens like that, when it's all serendipitous. You're like, I didn't have anything to do with this. This is the universe did this for me.
Blowing it for me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's another one of the things that I do in my bed at night is sometimes our thoughts do take over us because we have a lot going on. And it's a beautiful thing because we want the life that we want. And so we're creating and manifesting always. And sometimes that mind is like, well, I still want to talk about what we were talking about earlier. And it's like, it's time to go to bed.
Right.
And so on moments like that, I will lay flat on my back and I put my palms up. And when my mind starts to try to take me this way, then I'll just lay there and be like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I revert back to being grateful and thankful for how everything flowed the way it needed to be. May not be able to understand it, but thank you for today. Thank you for waking me up tomorrow. I already know that I'm claiming it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And sometimes I have no words to say, but thank you.
Yes.
And then the next thing you know, I'm like, all right, you're cozy, girl. Let's turn over and go to bed. Yes. And so I can have a good night's sleep. And that's one of my other main over anything is gratitude.
Yes.
Gratitude. It changes gratitude. That's my everyday attitude.
Yes.
It changes everything for real. For real. You can be having a horrible day. And even if you don't have the words to say, because sometimes it's hard to express it in the moment or in the midst of a challenge. It's just like, thank you for pausing me for a second.
Yes.
Because I need this pause to breathe and become present in this space. Thank you. And that is one of, if nothing else, thank you is everything to me, or gratitude is everything to me.
You said when you're laying in the bed, and I know that you're married. So how has this affected your marriage? What does your husband say when you're doing all this?
Oh, he's passed out sleep at this point because he has to get up super early. By the time I'm in the bed with him, it's like, okay, he's going to sleep at this point. I'm probably late night, and then it's like, okay, it's time to go to bed, Lora. And so he doesn't even know what's going on.
But what does he think about this new person, these affirmations, and who you've evolved to?
You know, it's amazing because I can... Every here and there, he'll just pop up and be like, I see you. Like I can hear him doing the things now. I can hear him being more self-aware about himself and how he is with the kids and stuff. So he knows that don't mess with me when it comes to this. I mean that in a nice way, because I'll throw it back and be like, self-love for yourself too. All right, right? Yes. Both of us need to be loving ourselves so we come together, right? And it's one big, huge, powerful love. So he loves it. He loves it. I think, honestly, it was an adjustment initially because different boundaries, different things were set in place for me. And we've been married 20 years. And so
congratulations.
Thank you. Yes. Young love, 22. I was 22. But different boundaries and different things I found myself trying to put in place. And he's like, what, who are you? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And it was like, no, I'm in a different space now. And initially it was like a tug of war a little bit, nothing negative, but just trying to get a feel of what does this whole self-loving Lora look like, or what is this? Like, I've seen you do Joli Bae forever, but this is a new level of what I'm seeing, and I've seen him shift for himself in a powerful, good way. Like,
That's
just being in his energy and space. I'm like, okay, I see it. Yeah, I wasn't trying to be mean or anything, but there was some things for me to protect my own energy and certain things that he started being more self-aware about, things for himself. So adjustment.
This is a person who's with you and in your household. How did your friendships change when you started to recognize and start affirming things in your life?
Well, that's something I also talk about, that people will either fall off by the wayside and it may hurt because you felt like these are your people.
Yeah.
Or people will either raise to your frequency and be like, I see where you are, and I love that.
Yes.
And that's when you start realizing who's really supposed to be in your space and who you're supposed to be learning something from. So people will drop off, and a lot of people have dropped off. There's definitely a smaller, and I don't want to say circle, but a smaller gathering that I truly, truly trust and believe in.
Yeah.
And then that's where Selfish Day Out comes, where other women can come into a safe space to feel like, you may have your best friend. You may have, like I said, people will just drop everything, like just spill out everything about their life out of nowhere with me. And it's like, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Obviously, you needed to get that off your chest. And so I think I got lost again.
I like how people are taking off the mask, and
that part.
Yes, I like them taking off the mask to reveal their true self, and they trust. This energy is the same, and that they trust you when they're sharing their heart, these thoughts with you. I mean, that comes with, a lot of responsibility, but not just responsibility. That comes with like a great type of discernment and knowing and trusting the people that you're with, and knowing when I'm sharing with you, it's going to be received, because I don't want to be judged if I share things with you.
Authenticity is what it comes down to. A lot of inner work for yourself. I think when you're true with yourself, it's just easier for people to be true with you.
Absolutely.
Like, dang, I can kind of let my hair down a little bit and not realize it.
Yes.
Not that you're like, oh, I can let my hair down with you. It's just more like you just fall into like, this is just a comfortable space for me. I feel safe with you.
So because you do affirmations, do you do vision boards?
I don't do vision boards. I do always, however, suggest to write down. I don't do
scripting.
Scripting.
Yeah,
I do, and not even in a way where you just need to talk about what's about to happen and you're talking your future life. More so like when those downloads from the universe hit you, write it down.
Yes,
write it down.
Yes,
trust me. Don't even worry about if it feels overwhelming. If it seems too big for you, just write it down, because it's gonna keep adding to it. And the more you'll start looking back at that, you'll see that you've already taken like 5 steps within that without thinking about it.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that I always talk about. Just write everything down that comes to mind. And in the shower is where a lot of that comes to me.
Yeah.
It's great ideas. And I think it's just because I'm in a very relaxed state. The clutter is gone. And then the ideas are popping and I'm like, get out of here. I want to write this down. It's like, no, it'll come to you. It's right. And so as soon as I get out, I'm like hot-tailing to the, write this down. It's like, I know, okay.
Keep a tablet in the bathroom.
It's right. Or a little voice recorder. Hey, listen to me what I'm saying. Also,
Alexa, write this down.
Exactly. So I've never really done the vision board. My sister did vision boards, and I actually have one of her vision boards still. It's in my house. Wow. And I love it, for that. It's like, this is like her life that I can keep looking back at and feel like we're doing a legacy together.
Yes,
but I'm all about noting everything. And you don't have to see beyond what you just saw.
Yeah.
That was a vision that you were given. Trust me, it's going to expand.
I love that. My pastor used to tell us a lot of times to write everything down, like write your thoughts when they come down. And he said the reason why it's so important to do that is because as these thoughts come, you're going to be able to look back and say, okay, see, that didn't happen, or God fixed this for me, or I thought this was such a big deal. And then I flip over a couple of pages later and I'm like, this wasn't really, it worked itself out. It just is a way of us seeing what these thoughts are. And then once we look at them, sometimes even when we read them back, we're like, girl, were you really concerned about that?
Right.
Yeah. It's important to see what's here and then put it down. The Bible says, make the vision plain. When you see it and then you write it down, it's also nice to go back and say, that was a year ago and look how much has happened since then.
Yes, I'm with that. And then also, if it is a vision that you're given and it's very vivid and you start writing it, then you start visualizing it even more. And then when you start visualizing, you have really planted that even deeper. So that means you're walking in it at this point. And you can see it now that you can visualize it. Now you can feel it.
Yes.
And once we hone into feeling what we really want our life to be, that's when we begin to truly manifest that part. Because we be manifesting some crazy stuff because we're feeling these other things too. But it's like, feel the good stuff. Because that's where you really want your life to be. But you're holding yourself back because you're stuck on this other stuff tugging at you, pulling you back, trying to remind you of this old self-image. You're not that person anymore.
Yeah.
You've expanded from there, and that's okay. Let that part go.
I love the self-sabotage and the self-talk that we have to let ourselves know, like, we're okay now. We're not sabotaging ourselves anymore. We're not thinking about these old thoughts. This is not who we are. We don't identify by this label anymore. This is who we are now. And it's like you're giving us permission to think highly of ourselves. Like back in the day, like you might be conceited if you thought well of yourself, or you might be waiting around for someone to give you the compliment. Now it's like okay to compliment ourselves. It's okay to love your skin. It's okay to tell yourself I am beautiful and I love you. It's okay if you're not receiving that from anyone. If you're receiving it from yourself first, then you're way ahead of the game.
Yes, I think we dim our light for other people so much, and I don't really understand how that happened. Maybe it was from share your toy with them. You need to and instead of us learning that we're sharing, we're learning that we have to make them happy.
Yes.
Because they want my thing and I was playing with it, you know, and that's another way to look at it.
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it.
And so it's like, why can't I just keep my toy right now? Because I was actually playing with it. But you can come over here, but I shouldn't just have to give you my happiness away just to make you happy.
Right.
Make you feel comfortable. If you can't feel comfortable in the space that I'm in, then come back later and see if you fit in then. Because I shouldn't have to fit in your box. I don't live in a box anymore. Them boxes, that's old news. It's dusty.
Speaking of boxes, now this isn't a box, but it looks like a shopping bag. What is this right here?
Okay, so speaking of affirmations, I actually have affirmation cards.
Okay.
They're called self-ish.
Oh, I love it.
Self-love, self-worth. Self-discovery and self-ish is a part of those affirmations. It's 4 different affirmations to affirm yourself for you to pull. So you're going to be either self-ish that day, self-worth, self-discovery, or self-love. I recently created some new cards that I'm really excited that I want you to open.
Okay.
And so, I'm going to let you open them and then we'll talk about them.
Okay, let me see.
Okay.
Oh.
This in the little pack. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, the pack is so cute. Oh my gosh. Wow. I love everything. I love all these details.
So this is just a smaller version.
Are these personalized?
Those are personalized for you.
Oh gosh. It says L's selfish daily conversation starters.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Conversation card deck is the ideal meaningful conversation starter for brunch with the girls, Friendsgiving activities, self-care retreats, holiday festivities, sorority events, icebreakers, etc. Selfish daily is also great for solo use. Pull a card and choose to speak affirmations or ask the question. Thank you so much. I love this.
Yes.
So the one that's popping out for me is, what is your favorite affirmation or words of encouragement? Then on the back, it says, all the resources I need are within me. I was just telling myself this today. This is confirmation.
Oh my God.
This is the only one that was turned this way. I was just telling myself, because I was like, what's going on? What's going to happen? Like, who do I need to call? And I was saying, everything I need is already right here.
I love that.
Yes. So tell me about the cards.
So I do host events called Selfish Day Out. And one of the things is we are around the table, we're hanging out. And so these cards are kind of like a little icebreaker, kind of fun. So you pull a card. And the last time we did it, the ladies, I was like, you can either say an affirmation or you can ask the question. Everyone did both, just like you did. They were like, I want to say the affirmation first. And every time someone pulled the affirmation, they were like, I feel like these cards were set up just for me.
Yes.
Because each person felt like it spoke exactly to them what they pulled. And so that's when I created these, I was like, whatever it's supposed to be in here, don't use it for my ego.
Yeah.
For whoever it's supposed to be, let this card deck be exactly that.
Yes.
And the questions that came up were, it's so engaging to have inspirational conversations instead of always talking about mess or other people's business or just everything scrolling on social media. This is a way to bring it back to meaningful, light, fun conversations that really feel like, okay, I get to really express myself, because you probably would pull these out with some people that you trust and maybe not. You may break the ice with people that had this hard shell and cover over them that they were like, you know what, I needed this moment today. Thank you for pulling these cards out because I feel like I got some stuff off my chest that I didn't even know was there.
Yeah, and they're purse size, so I can take these with me wherever I go. You know what? When I met you guys, I just sat at the table because I needed an extra chair, but these would have been perfect.
I love it.
Let that shit go.
Yeah. Is it in there? It's in that one. So the deck is actually a 64-pack deck. So it's 32 affirmations, 32 questions. Mm-hmm. And so, like I said, you can use these for yourself.
Yeah.
Or, add friends.
Yeah, because whenever I'm with my girlfriends and we're having lunch and then an ex-boyfriend comes up, I can say, girl, let that shit go.
I love it. Exactly. And it's amazing because you'll be surprised how easy you can go one way with that conversation or you can be like, we're going to stop this right now. We're going to switch this up.
I love this. These will be used, ladies. Just get ready. I'm going to tell y'all now. These will be used. I love this. This is so cute. And I love the bag that they came in. We do talk about, something like if me and my girlfriends are talking about, like if a guy, an old ex comes up, one thing that we have to protect those conversations is he who shall remain nameless. That's kind of one thing that we do. But I like kind of incorporating being intentional about our conversations. And this is a way of doing that. And this is going to help me hold everybody accountable. When I'm rising, I want everybody around me to rise too. And that for me, especially starts with the conversation, especially being a podcaster. So thank you so much for this. I appreciate it.
Yes.
So getting back to you, I know that you have Selfish Day coming out.
Yes.
Can we talk about that?
Yes. So Selfish Day Out, that's something I've been doing for a couple of years. And we took COVID came and just changed everything. So we're bringing it back out. We've had two, and we're moving into January.
Okay.
And it is an intimate gathering. It's not like a big, huge event.
Okay.
It's an intimate gathering. We go out to eat. We celebrate each other. And you got to come.
I got to.
We start off with affirming and whatever that affirmation of the moment is. And then we go into meaningful conversation and we get great shots by Kiki, our photographer. So it's another part that we've added to it. I feel like sometimes we are so hard on our self-image. Mm-hmm. And so having this extra piece with them meeting with Key high key photography.
Yes.
Let me tell you, it's hard for I can't even speak for her, but I do know that these ladies walk away feeling even more confident when they look at themselves. Because a lot of times would you say that they're like, I don't really, do the pictures like that, but I need to update my pictures, but
Right.
you're afraid, or you might be that one that wants to be on the side, that's not always wanting to be in the middle of the camera and stuff. And in the world of social media, we feel like we're supposed to look like this picture perfect. And when she captures them, and then it's like once the day is over and they're able to reflect back on what this day meant by looking at the pictures and the footage and the video, it brings back that good feeling again, like, okay, I can have these selfish days and not feel guilty or bad because I left the kids at home, the husband at home, or the dogs at home, or whoever I left out of this space. I don't have to feel bad about it because I was actually affirming myself, renewing myself. So when I show up back with whoever it is that I love, I'm even more powerful than I was before. I'm able to love on you even more because I've loved on myself. And that's what Selfish Day Out is about, loving on yourself in this moment, no matter what.
So it's an intimate day out. We'll go to dinner or go
brunch
eat.
or dinner.
Okay. And then we're going to be doing some sharing. And then maybe I'll meet new people.
You definitely, here's the thing. So it's not a networking event, but everyone always walks away with amazing connections.
Right.
And that's what I love. It's not, we going to pass our cards out and meet you and let's do business. It's like, I genuinely got to meet you and I really want to support you. And so that part is a big part when I can see those connections made as well, walking away like, I'm going to reach out to you. And it truly happens that way. It's authentic connection. So I love that. It's no forced, like, how am I going to come in and just tell my story? Because a lot of the networking events, nothing wrong with them, but everyone's coming in with their elevator pitch. Boom, boom, boom. And it's like, did I get to know you real quick? So it's not like that.
So am I going to feel comfortable to share my thoughts with everybody?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You might walk in like, what did I just walk into? But you're going to leave like, child, when's the next? Okay. What? No,
definitely. I love that. I love that. I like being among like-minded people, and I'm very authentic. And so I love those authentic conversations. And I love that you said it's intimate because some conversations aren't for the masses. It's for a smaller group of people, especially when you have things that you want to share. You don't want to share that with everybody, but I love that you said it's an intimate group. So I'm excited. I'm going to definitely put it on my calendar. I'm going to be watching and checking to see when it's, going to be coming, because I know you haven't given the date yet. But let us know where we can continue to follow you.
Yes. So you can follow me. My main space for content is YouTube, and that is at Lora Rosemon, LORA ROSEMON. So you can find me on YouTube there. I have coaching series, behind the scenes. It's been a lot of behind the scenes lately since we're back into the world, and a lot of quick, short motivational messages.
I love that.
Yeah, as well as Instagram. Instagram is at Lora Rosemon _. So those two are like my main spaces.
Okay. I'm going to definitely go and subscribe to, because sometimes I work from home on certain days, doing remote work for my clients. And then some days I'm in houses. But when there are those days, because my son is grown and they're like not in Houston now, sometimes I don't see my girlfriend. So sometimes I'm in the house, and it's so nice when someone that I see often checks in, even if it's on YouTube. I feel like I build up a rapport, and having those affirmations, having those pep talks, just a good conversation, even if it's quick, does something for me in my house by myself. I need that sometimes.
Yes.
So I'm excited. I'm definitely going to subscribe.
Yay. That's what, it's funny you said that. The thing is I'm always talking to myself. That is my whole, it's breathe and be selfish, because we want to be present so that we can understand our self-worth and love on ourselves. And then I'm talking to myself. Y'all just this bonus for y'all that I'm actually sharing this to the world, or feeling confident and good enough to be able to share with you how I talk to myself.
Yes.
Keep myself motivated and inspired in the space that I'm in.
Yes. We love this self-talk. Let that shit go and let it go to us.
Yes.
Thank you, Lora, for being here today. I'm so glad that I was able to get you on my talk and have this conversation, get you on my couch and have this conversation with you. I appreciate it today.
Yes.
And I'm so glad Kiki showed up too.
Kiki in the background.
And thanks you guys for being here. We're gonna be going black because it's holiday season. So we'll see you guys after Thanksgiving holidays. We'll probably see you again in 2 weeks, but we'll be going black. So follow up with us. Thank you guys so much for following, and thank you guys so much for subscribing, and thank you guys so much for listening today on In Their Closet.